Hey guys, this is the CS6 Trans One, and I'm here today to show you guys how to make your own pine trees and like oak trees or maple trees. So I'm just gonna start out by telling you what you're gonna have to purchase and also what you're gonna probably have around the house. I'll start out with stuff that you're probably gonna have around the house. Um, well, first, one thing you're gonna need is either some kind of spray glue. Most people might not have this around their house. I do, since my dad has a photography business. But you can also use it's just regular hairspray, Aquanet. This actually works really good for making the pine trees. If you're making more like oak or spruce trees or anything kind of like that, you're gonna want this because this is a lot stronger. This works fine though for making pine trees. So I definitely recommend this for pine trees and recommend this for like oak trees. Also for pine trees, you're gonna want a pair of scissors. I have rounded tip, which has got the more round tip, and I also have pointed tip. The pointed tip is better for cutting and trimming. This is good for just knocking the heavy stuff off. You're also gonna want either like a board or a piece of any kind of wood you have kicking around the house. And I use this just set it on when I put the stuff in. It's got three different slots. Got a deep one, halfway deep, and a shallow. And then I also use this big section down here, which is just kind of plain. You're gonna want that. You're gonna want some needle nose, some kind of like wire cutters. You get the cutting part and then a good sized flat part up there. You're gonna need them. Also, you're gonna need a drill. It does not have to be this kind of fancy drill like this. You can use just like a normal drill. This is an expensive Bosch. Definitely the lower the volts are, the better, because even the 12 volt, which is what this is really fast, even on low. If you have like a 6-volt drill, I definitely recommend this. You definitely want to make sure it's got a chuck and make sure it does not have just a snap lock. The snap locks, which is what that has, will not work. You got to have a chuck. Um, you're also going to need some wire. You may have to purchase this. You're going to want to make sure it's the gauges wire. This is a 22 gauge wire. You can get a good size roll of this at your local Michaels for about $2. Also some stuff you're gonna have to purchase. We'll kind of start out again, which is the glue, and if you don't have hairspray, you're also gonna want to purchase some either deer hair, or deer like belly hair. Really inexpensive. You get at local Dick's Sporting Goods. It's about $2.50. You also may need to purchase wire, as I said before. Different colored grasses. I use the grass because it's fine. It's like ground foam. There's three different shades: dark, light, and medium. I use all of them to make my pine trees, as you can see back there. You also probably want to purchase for like oak trees or other trees like that is some more coarse stuff, which they call a ground cover. It's actually a lot more wiry. They usually use this for gluing on train sets. As you can see, this is a lot more thick compared to this stuff back here, which is just ground like fat like foam. Okay, so as I'm going to show you guys this right from the start, how to make a tree. So let's set the camera right here. You're going to want to move all your other stuff. These trees are very inexpensive to make. They work good for HO scale, N scale, and Z scale. I would not put them on anything bigger than that. This scale works perfect. So you're going to want to take your drill, set it next to your board, cut a piece of wire. I'm going to make about a 3-inch tree, so you want about 6 inches of wire. Either take your cutting cutters and cut off the section of wire. So you have, as you can see on the camera, the piece of wire. You're going to want to fold it in half so it's equal. Straighten it out so it's really nice and straight. You're going to have a big loop down there. You're going to want to take that loop and pinch it tight. This is really good if you have like ridges in yours, because you can set it right in the ridge and it usually crimps it right away. Like that. That's for the whole purpose of getting it into the drill. What you're going to want to do next, just take your chuck, open it up enough to get the wire in. This is 22 gauge wire, so you really don't have to open it at all. I definitely wouldn't go any lower than 20 gauge wire, just because 20 gauge wire is a little heavy. Anything over 20 gauge is just going to be too heavy to make trees out of. Actually, I usually use anywhere between 20 to 30 gauge. This is 22. I've used 30 gauge. I've used 20 gauge. These heavier frames, as you can see in the back here, which I'll move, these are all 20 gauge frames. This is 22. I definitely recommend either getting the silver or green because it works the best. Next, you're going to want to take your cutters, which have the flat part on them, not your needle nose yet, and grab about an inch off the drill, and you're going to just wind it, as you can see here. And that makes the stem of your tree, for your pine tree. Then, you're just going to want to take your 2 pieces of wire that are still hanging out, slide your finger between to open them up, turn your drill so it's kind of facing like this position so you can set it down on your board. Once you have it down on the board, definitely make sure your board's thick enough that the wire will sit on there without having like underneath gap. After you do that, you're going to want to take your hair. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to use a brighter color. I'm actually going to use purple. The hair color really don't matter because you're not going to see most of it. If you don't want to know see any of it at all, definitely just take a little can of green paint. Even if you can't get the color green hair, which you usually can. I just used all mine. And just paint it. I mean, this stuff you can paint easy, and it actually makes it even easier to put on this. This may take a couple of trees just to get the hang of. But all you're going to do is kind of wedge it in there as is. Just get enough in there to make a good sized tree. Since I'm making about a 3-inch tall tree, you're going to want a decent amount of hair. The little bit of hair that you put in will make it quite a ways. You'll be surprised. So don't worry about using too much or too little because you can spread it out. I usually take about 3 decent sized clumps, which will make enough. Definitely make sure your wire overhangs your piece of wood too, because it gives it a better grip, which you can get a hold of. Now you can see I definitely don't recommend picking this up off the table, but just to show you, this is what it looks now with the hair in it. And you're just going to press the trigger, and now you can see it's all like frizzy. I'll back the camera up so you can see it. Now it's frizzy. What you're going to want to do is you can actually take it out of the drill now because you won't need it in there anymore. That's just to wind that. And you're just going to cut it to shape. So kind of cut it into a tree form. So which is kind of like a traffic cone shape. So as you can see, it's getting to the cone shape now. And then you just trim off the hairs that stick down on the bottom because you're not going to want them down around your stem. If there's any excess hair, just blow it off. Now you can see it's got the cone shape. There's a wire sticking out on the top. Do not remove this after you're done tapping your foam off because it makes it so much easier to get the foam removed. So don't remove it to after the foam is done. Next, all you're going to do is you're going to spray some of the hairspray, which I'm going to use for this one because this is going to be a pine tree. Spray the hairspray, definitely not near your table. So now you can see I have this. Just coat it so you can see the little like wet spots on it. Definitely coat it pretty well for your first one. And I'm going to go with light green. So we'll just slide the board out of the way. And all you're going to do is cover the tree in the green that you just pick. I definitely recommend getting different shades. These are only about $3.50 for a pack of the green. And definitely the different shades will definitely make your train set look better than having all one shade. So if you have to pay about $12 for the 3 different packs, it's really worth it. I had these packs kicking around because there's actually a grass made for model train sets. So as you can see now, it's getting the green to it. Trim it now after you put one coat on. Trim it now so it's perfectly the shape you want it before your final coat. Just trim it so it's perfect. This may take a little time to get the hang of the shape you want after you're kind of done with it. But once you get the shape, They look a lot better. So now I have it done. You can see there's still a little purple showing. Spray it again. Definitely buy your own hairspray. Do not take it like from your mom, because you're going to go through a good can to make some of this. The Aquanet hairspray, make sure it's unscented, because some of the girl hairspray smells like flowers and stuff, and you definitely don't want your train set smelling like flowers. Tap the excess off the tray. And now you can see you have your pine tree. You're going to spray one more coat now. So you can see there's 3 coats you're going to spray on the tree. This is the final coat to make sure everything sticks, because you don't want any of that new stuff falling off. Then you can see you have the tree. Cut the top section of wire off now, because you won't need that now. So now you don't have any top wire. The bottom still has the little loop that goes in the drill. You can remove that now, because that was only for the purpose of getting it in the drill. You want to trim it right up to where the spiral will start from the drill. And there you have it. It's just a little pine tree that you definitely works on any model train set. I use this for H, O, N, and Z, so if you have any of those scales, definitely do this. These are all trees I've made on my own. They look a lot better, a lot cheaper, and they can be made really quick. So just poke that in there, and as you can see, my collection just keeps growing. Some trees that you can buy at the store, they all look identical. This is one you can buy at the store. There's also these, and as you can see, these are all perfectly cut triangles. There is not a tree on this planet that is 100% perfectly cut. This is another brand, Hobby Talon USA sells, and even another brand. This is kind of what we made, but in just a really bad shape. They cost about 10 cents for each tray to make. And even in, this is a Walters catalog I have here. You can see they have trees here. This is a snow-covered tree. There's 5 in a pack for $19. That's G scale. This is HO scale. $16 for 7 trees. I have 30 trees made up right now. And an average 30 tree pack cost about $30. Which, as you can see, is really ridiculous when this is only about $2 worth of trees that I probably have made up right now. So it's really inexpensive, and it's definitely the way to go. Definitely, guys, make your own trees, because they look so much realer than fake ones that you buy at the store. Also, just to let you know, check out my website. There'll be a link down below of all my new photos of the trains in my area. Alright, guys, thanks.